a language that helps user to develop applications on their own. On their own. So, for example, I am the user. I would like to develop one application. I can able to develop with the help of a programming. What is the programming language? A programming language is nothing but a software, a language that help us to use a programming language that help us to users to develop the application on it. So this is the meaning of the programming. So what are the different types of programming language we have? We have mission level language, assembly level language, you can call it assembly language, or you can call it assembly level, and high level. So as we said, the mission level is nothing but either zero or either zero or so completely it is filled with zeros and ones. We don't have any characters. We don't have any special characters. We don't have any numbers. In case of assembly level language, we'll have zeros and ones, and also some simple English words. Some English words. What are the words like, for example, add, sub, move, del. So these kind of we can call it as a assembly level. So his assembly level language contains zeros and ones, like a mission level, and also contains some simple English words like add, sub, move, del, etc. Then come to the point of high level. It contains numbers, special characters, words, etc. So it is easy to understand. It is easy to understand by anyone. So means the programmer we can understand, the normal programmers also can understand, anybody can easily understand. So the first level is the mission level, which is of the zeros or ones or zeros and ones. Assembly level contains the zeros and also some simple English words like add, sub, move, del, etc. Next one, high level, it contains the numbers, special characters, words. What are the special characters here? The special character is nothing but the @ symbol, hashtag symbol. These kind of symbols we can call as special characters. And words means like if, else, for, do, continue, go to. These kind of words we can also use in the high level language. Come to the point of the introduction of C. So here, what is the C? The C is nothing but one of the high level languages. It is one of the high level. So the question, what is in the high level language? The high level language is nothing but anybody can understand, contains the numbers, special characters, and the any kind of words. So it is called the high level. It is well structured. It is well structured. So what is the meaning of well structured? If you want to write any program, you see, we have to follow the specific method. The first we have to write like this one. The first statement should be like this one. The second like this one, the third like this one. So we have to follow the specific format for writing the C program. So that's why you can call it is a well structured. When you write a C program, it's in the perfect order. That is called the well structured. And it is easy to understand. It is easy to understand. It is easy to migrate. Easy to migrate. So what is meant by migrate here? For example, if I write a C program, I can easily convert the C program into C++ or Java also. That is called migrate. So migrate nothing but if I write one program in one language, I can easily transfer the same program in another. And next one, it is mission independent. It is mission independent. So what is the mission independent? Nothing but, for example, I write a C program in my system. If you want to execute the same program in your system, you can execute. There is no problem. There is no need to rewrite the program again and again and again. If I write one program in my system, I can copy in the pen drive. I can able to place in our system and you can able to execute. That is called mission independent. So means there is no need of depending upon the systems. And it is compatible. The compatible means you can carry from one place to another place very easily. We can copy from one place to another place, and also we can execute on any system. That is the advantage of the C code. It is invented by Dennis Ritchie. It is invented by Dennis Ritchie. So he is a scientist. It was invented by Dennis Ritchie. So what is the advantage of this program? Means basic applications can be developed. Basic application can be developed with the help of the C programming language. And come to the point, we already discussed in the last section what is the data. So it is nothing but is a collection of objects. It is a collection of objects. So it's a collection of objects. And the second thing is not in an order. Not in an order. The collection of objects not in an order. Your object is nothing but any pictures or any words, anything can be considered. I already told you clearly in the last class. For example, I have the sky, say that the sky is blue. The sky is blue. When you see the sentence, what you can understand this perfectly in the specific order. Now, when you read the sentence, what we can understand, anybody can easily understand that it is going to tell the sky is blue. For example, if I write the sentence like this, to say blue sky, this. So when you see both the sentences, the second one is very tricky as compared to the first one. That's why these kind of things we can call as a data, where this kind of things we can call as a information. So what we can understand now, the data is like a collection of words, but these words are not in a specific format. Where in case of information, the words are in the specific format. The words are in the specific format. This is the difference between the data and information. So this is the example for, see, this is the example for, so this is the example for the data. Which one? This sentence is an example for data. And this sentence is an example for information. What is the information here? The processed data. The processed data is called information. What do you mean by processed? Nothing but converting the data in the form of information. Simple. So what is the advantage of writing the program? The programs will help us to convert the given data in the form of information. For example, I will take one example. The point of data, I will take two values, 12 and 14. For example, if the information I will say 26, what we can understand now? So I give the data as 12 and 14. If the information is 26, what you understand? These two numbers are added. These two numbers are added. The result is 26. If I get here -2, what you can understand? These two numbers are subtracted and I get 2. So this E 12 and 14 we can call as the data because whatever we are giving is called the data. The result of the data is nothing but the information. I already told in the last class, the students sitting in a classroom we can call as a data. The students are sitting in such a way that all the students are seated one by one in the roll number wise. Then we can call it as information. Okay. So the basic concept. So what is the purpose of program? When you write a program, you need to give some data and the data will be processed with the help of the program and we will get the information. That is the concept of writing the program. If you want to write the program, you need a programming language. You need a programming language. So here we have the programming language like C, C++, Java, Python, etc. Okay. Now, if you want to, what's the purpose of data? The data is for storing. If I have, for example, I have money. What's the purpose of having money? We can save in the bank. And we can, if you want to use that money, we can withdraw whenever we require and we will use. Again, we will deposit the money. We'll withdraw the money. Depositing, withdrawing, depositing, withdrawing. So these tasks we are performing. In the same way, if we have a data with you, what's the purpose of having the data? The data will be stored at some location. And whatever the data that is stored, that will be recollected and used for something and we'll get the information. To store the data, we require a location. So that is called stored element. Stored element. What is a stored element here? Nothing but a place where we can store data. Where we can store the data. The stored element is nothing but the element is nothing but the place where we can store the element. So what is the element we are going to store here? We can store any values, we can store any words, we can store any strings, or we can store any numbers, whatever you want to store. The place where we can store the data. So here these we can call as one type, we can call as the variables. Examples for stored elements we can call as the variables. And what is the variable? It is a data element which is used to store data. It is a data element which is used to store data. Here, what is the data? Any number. characters, words, special characters, whatever it may be, whatever you want to store, we can store in which one? Variables. So the variable is a data element which is used to store the data. Now the question, why they have given the name as a variable? Why they can't give the different name? Because the data which is stored can be replaced, or altered. So now you can understand the variable. The variable means it can change its state. For example, today I have one bike, tomorrow I may have the car. So I can say myself is a variable because whatever I may have with long time or I may can change. That is called variable. So any real time we can call anything variable. For example, pen. Pen is a variable. How can you say the pen is variable? When it's by the pen, you will have the complete refill, filled refill. When you keep on using, the refill will be lost. So now there is a possibility that changing the state of the element. So what is the purpose of the variable? Those will help us to store the data, and the whatever the data we are storing can be changed whenever we require. For example, I will say here a equal to 10. What's the meaning of this one? I am storing a value 10 into a. If you say again a equal to 15, what is the meaning of this one? I am storing a value 15 into a. See, initially I stored 10, now I am storing 15. What will happen? The previous value 10 will be erased and the new value will be placed. For example, if I say again here a equal to -1, now the 15 also will be erased and the new value minus will be placed. So this simple concept of a variable. So initially for a variable I have given the value 10. Next I am giving the 15. When you give the 15, automatically 10 will be erased. The new value will be considered. The third case I'm giving the a value is -1. Then the a will be 10, will be 15 will be erased and the new value will be considered. So this is the concept we can call as a variable. And the second example we can call as the constant. What is a constant? It is a data element which is used to store data. Same, any numbers, we can store any numbers and anything whatever you want here. You can save anything here. But here, the data which is stored cannot be altered or replaced. So what is the difference? We can understand the difference between the constant and the variable. And the variable initially have 10, I can change to 15 and I can change to -1. For example, if you say here x equal to 12, you cannot change this value because the constant never changes its value. The variables can change its value, but the constant will never change its value. So now what is the user? Example pi. You say pi equal to some 3.414. This is a constant. This value ever change in the life. If we take an example of 2 by 2 matrix, the number of rows are equal to 2 constant. The number of columns are C equal to 2 is constant. Because the 2 by 2 matrix is always have the 2 number of rows and 2 number of columns. So likewise, we have to decide the constants and the variables. Right? One is a constant and what's the variable. Now the question, sir, how we declare a variable in C program? How you declare a variable in C? Is a question, sir, what is the declare? The declare is nothing but I am using this one. I am going to use this one. For example, I recruit one employee. So you're recruiting nothing but I am accepting. So, okay, he is going to be used. The same way, I have to declare a variable which I have to use. So how do you declare? You have to use first one, the data type and the variable name. Variable name, semicolon. So data type, variable name, semicolon. Here the question, we have a doubt. Sir, what is the data type? What is the data? Anything. The numbers, characters, words. So data type is nothing but which type of value you would like to store. Whether I would like to store the integer value, whether I store to numbers, whether I would like to store to decimal numbers, whether I want to store the character and the string, that depend upon we have to say. For example, if I say here int a, what's the meaning of this one? Here a is a variable. A is a variable. Which type of integer type? Integer type. So what is the integer here? Is one type of data. So like 12, 13, 265, 1050, minus 12, minus 45, these kind of values we can call as a integers. So if we want to store such type of values, we have to specify the int type. We have to specify the data type is int. For example, if you say here float b, and then the b is a variable of floating type. Here's a question, sir. What is the floating type? Any decimal numbers. Example. Example 12.55 or something. What is the numbers we can have? These type of numbers we can have. The floating. But you have to remember one thing. When you declare a variable as a float, you can also give the integer. There is no problem. It will accept. If you give the integer, you can't give the float. Once you declared a variable as integer, you need to give integer values only. But if you give the a variable as a float, there is no problem. We can give the integer values. So take an example. I will say here int marks. Here, so marks is a variable of type integer. I'll say here marks equal to 67. So what it indicates? Here I'm giving the marks 67 to the variable. So this we can see, this is called declaration. This is called initialization. This is called initialization. So this is called declaration. So means declaration nothing but what you would like to use, which one you would like to use. And initialization, how you are using. I'm giving values. So this is called initialization. Okay. So in the same way, for example, if I say here mass equal to 12.2, it will accept? No. What it will do? It will take only 12, it will not take 12 point. Why? Because the integer will not doesn't accept the floating. So that's why I can't give like this generally. But if I say, for example, float score, I can give a score equal to 6.5. This can be possible. The same way, say score equal to 23. It is also possible. See, the 23 is the integer value. where 6.5 is the float value, even though it is accepted, because the floating data type can accept the integer also. But the integer value accept, but it will not accept the accurate value. If I give 6.5, it will take only 6 in case of integer. In case of float, you can give the exact value. So this is called a data type. I will repeat again from the scratch here. The program is collection of instructions which can be performed or may not perform. A programming language, nothing but the language that helps the user to develop the application on their own. We can have mission level. We can use 0 or 1 or 0 and 1. You want to say the 0 and 1 also, you can say. Assembly level language, you can use zeros and ones, and also some simple English words like as. So where we can use in the microprocessor designing. Microprocessor design uses assembly level, right? So high level, it contains the numbers, special characters, words. It can easy to understand by English. Come to the point of introduction to C. It is a high level. Why you see the high level? Because anybody can understand the simple words we have. They are structured. Is a specific format you have to follow while writing the program. Anybody can easily understand. It is easy to migrate. Migrate nothing but here. The program design in C can be used in C++, can be used in Java, and can be used in the summer. And it's a mission independent. Nothing but if you design one program in one system, you can execute the same program in another system. It's a compatible, nothing but we can carry a program in a pen drive or something wherever you want. Other you can send the mail to yours. This is invented by Dennis Ritchie. So here basically you have to understand what is the data is nothing but the collection of objects, and sometimes you are pictures also. I think earlier we have one type of puzzle game. So fill in the, for example, they will remove all the different pictures, and they will give the clues. According to the clues, you have to pick the place the pictures, and you will get the finally a big picture. I think like a puzzles. The puzzles, what will do? They will give the shuffle of objects, pieces, and they will ask you to place the pieces in such a way that they should form the picture. The pieces that they are giving is called the data. And when you arranging these pieces in a specific order, we will get the image. That image we can call as a information. Take an example that if I give the 12 and 14, if you get 26, I can say it is addition. If I get -2, I can is a subtraction. Like this, we can understand. The 12 and 14 is called the data, where 26 is called the information. 12 and 14 is the data, where -2 is called the information. Take one more example, the blue sky disease. So which is a sentence that doesn't have the meaning. If you frame the same sentence in a specific manner, we can call as an information. What a stored element? A place where we can store the data. What's the purpose of storing the data? When we store the data can be used whenever we require. Again. Okay. Now come to the point variable. The variable nothing but is a data element which is used to store the data of any type, whatever you want. And the data which is stored can be replaced or altered. If I give the value 10 first time, I can want to change, you can able to change. There is no problem. Take an example of I'm giving the a equal to 10 first, a equal to 15 next, and a equal. Finally we have this one. These two will not be available for more. The constant is nothing but data element which is used to store the data of any type. The data which is stored cannot be altered or replaced. Example of the pi value. That value every replaces the rows and columns on the matrix also we can call as a example for the constants. How you declare the variables? If you want to declare any variables, we have to use the data type and the variable name. You have to use the data type and also the variable name. So here I say int a. The a is a variable. Let's type integer. Float b. B is a variable. Float. So here when I say an integer data type variable can accept only integer values, but the floating can accept the integer values as well as the float values. If I say int marks, it indicates that I am declaration of a variable, marks of integer type of data. So this is nothing but initialization of variable marks of integer type of data. So next one, the float score. The score is nothing but a variable which is of type float. Now it can accept decimal numbers and also after integer value. That's the advantage of this. Okay, this is the end of the section for today. Anybody have any doubt?
No, sir.
No doubt, clear?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
So I will share the notes to you. The same way I will share the video also, video link to you. It will place in the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. You can go to it if you want to go to it. Okay.
What's the channel name, sir?
Pardon me.
What's the channel name?
I will share. I will share the test. Okay.
Yes, sir.